Hi, welcome back to another episode of Slice and Dice Ecom with ClickSlice. I'm Yulia, Operations Director, and I'm joined by Josh.
The founder of ClickSlice.
Today, we're going to touch on a topic that is probably one of my favorites because it's a core part of my job, and that's measuring and tracking SEO success. And to get it kicked off with the most important question, why is measuring and tracking SEO success that important?
I mean, if you're a business and you're spending money,
Exactly.
you need to know where your money is being spent and what ROI that is generating for the business as well, right? And it's actually crazy how many brands I speak to and they're like, yeah, we're working with this agency, spending money on SEO. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, how's it performing in terms of ROI? I'm not too sure. They don't really tell us. It's like, what do you mean they don't tell you? Like, what are you paying me for? Like, it's again, transparency is really, really important. So you can easily figure out the ROI of an SEO campaign by just setting up, conversion tracking goals, all that stuff in GA4, and you can actually forecast it prior to starting the campaign as well, so you actually know what to expect. So expectations is really, really important. We had a whole massive podcast we done recently. If you scroll back to the YouTube channel, you'll see it where we just had a whole episode just on forecasting SEO. So if you haven't watched that, definitely go and check that out. But I would say, if you are tracking your SEO results, it allows you to make more data driven decisions.
Yeah.
So an example is if you have two collection pages, maybe you're a fashion brand, you're selling t-shirts and you're selling shirts, right? If you know organically t-shirts are selling more than shirts and you make a higher profit margin and you get more organic sales and you know all that data, then if I now have another £10,000 worth of marketing to spend, you're not going to spend it on shirts. You're going to double down on t-shirts and go for brands, different materials, different types, V-neck, circle neck, right? So having that data is very, very important. And it also helps you demonstrate how impactful SEO is as a channel when you're presenting to your managers or your stakeholders, or even just trying to increase, the revenue of a business as a whole, really. Like we speak of a lot of marketing directors who obviously under pressure to generate results and direct the business in the right way. And if they can't justify how well SEO is doing, all you're doing is making your life harder to your boss. So you should be grilling every agency you work with. Like, how much money is this campaign making? What's the ROI? What are the keywords? Like, you need to know it inside out.
Yeah, that's right. That's spot on. And also for me and the team. So, as you know, we have weekly calls and we look at all of the campaigns. And there's a certain set of metrics that we look at just to understand how the campaign is performing. And if there are opportunities to pivot our focus or categories where something needs adjusting or tweaking.
Awesome. So you being our operations director, you have a really wide and overseen eye of all of our campaigns. We track a lot of data points and a lot of key metrics. What would you say is the most impactful metrics to track as part of an organic search campaign?
There's not one specific metric, but definitely the most important ones that we look at are keyword rankings, organic traffic, and organic sales. So, what we're looking at the end of every quarter when we have our quarterly call with clients is we want to see all of those metrics going in the right direction on a positive upwards trend. So, if your keyword rankings are going up, naturally you're ranking for more keywords for some of them on the first page. Naturally, you're getting more organic traffic because you're getting seen for more keywords. So naturally, we're driving more users to your website. So you should be getting more organic sales. If there is a discrepancy and your keyword rankings are going up, organic traffic is going up, but your organic sales are stagnating or even dropping, then we start looking into other metrics that SEO doesn't directly impact, which would be conversion rates, bounce rates. So we need to look into that too, because our efforts and our main goal is to generate that traffic on your website. That should in turn generate more sales.
Yeah, and I'm not ashamed to admit it as well. I think like a lot, a lot of agencies in our space are too guilty of just saying, "Hey, you sell this product, I'm going to get you on page one for that," and like just track keyword rankings. Like keyword rankings don't pay the bills, guys. Like, I don't care if you're ranking number one, number two, number three. If you're not generating organic revenue, the campaign to me is ineffective. So you're kind of doing your clients a disservice by not even getting an insight into organic revenue. And like I said, most clients share this with us anyway. You can
Yeah.
see it all through the Shopify analytics dashboard anyway. But if it's hidden, then you can just request the data. And the more transparent clients are with us, we can say, hey, your collection one made X amount. This time compared to this time last year, it made half that amount. So we can see progress, and we like to know we're doing a good job as well. Like when although they're hiring us and they're paying us for a service, we want to make sure we're giving them a good ROI and actually helping grow their business. Because if not, we need to adapt the strategy. So transparency between both parties, the client and the agency, is pivotal, I would say.
Yeah, and obviously, I don't want it to sound harsh for agencies if anyone's listening in, but clients won't care about those rankings and traffic. All you care about, and as it's normal, it's those organic sales going up. So the ROI. Oh, it's everything about ROI.
Yeah. So if there's any agencies listening to this, I'm sorry if you're guilty of just showing clients keyword rankings, traffic increases. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Clients want more organic revenue. So if you're still reporting like you're in 2005, it's time to catch up and get in the current present time of 2024 and beyond. You need to be showing clients that you are making them more money. That is why you started an SEO agency. You didn't start it just to show vanity keyword metrics. So focus on what makes a difference, and then you'll start growing your agency a lot more effectively too.
Yeah, spot on.
Awesome. So lots of metrics to track as we discussed, right? So what would you say are some of the best tools out there that you can use to measure performance of an SEO campaign? Because sometimes I even get overwhelmed. Like we've got GA4, there's Google Analytics, there's Google Search. Like there's so many tools out there. And again, what would you say is the most? I shouldn't have done that shit. I'll do this again. So, uh, so as sorry. So as we just discussed, there's obviously a lot of different metrics we can track. What tools would you say are the most effective in tracking some of the key or the KPIs, I would say, for SEO campaigns? So there's lots of different KPIs and metrics you can use to measure the success of an SEO campaign, as we just discussed, right? But what tools would you say are most effective in measuring the performance of an SEO campaign?
I would say it's Google Analytics and Search Console. There are differences. So Google Analytics can show you conversion rates, bounce rates. With Search Console, you can see what drives traffic to your website, what queries users are searching for. And on top of that, there's also some third-party tools that we use, Ahrefs, SEMrush, Moz, and you can get a bigger overview of what how keywords are ranking, your backlinks profile. So I would say these are the top tools that we use. But yeah, as you said, there's many metrics, so there's many tools also, and there are others that we sometimes use, but these are the main ones: Analytics, Search Console, and Ahrefs or SEMrush.
Awesome.
But as you know, with compared to ads, it there are some challenges in tracking SEO, and there are many variables. So, what would you say are the biggest challenges?
I think attribution is one of the biggest issues in our space right now. We actually spoke with a client a few weeks ago who's running Google ads, Meta ads, and he's doing SEO. I think he's doing email marketing as well. And then he sent an email marketing, his ads are live, he's doing SEO, right? And he had a sale generated. So he tried to figure out, okay, where did that sale come from? Email marketing, paid search, organic search. He logged into Meta, he logged into Google Ads, he checked GA4 as well, and he checked the email software he uses. And every single one showed that they generated that sale. So like
Yeah.
you don't actually know where your sales are coming from. There's a lot of stuff happening right now, GDPR and cookie policies and tracking, all of this stuff. It's only get worse and worse and worse. So attribution is becoming more and more difficult. I think with SEO, because you don't actually know what people search for, because Google Analytics doesn't give you that data because you're not paying for it, it is a bit challenging. So we try to take more of a broader, holistic approach and say, hey, you're now on page one for the keyword you wanted to be seen for. Your traffic is 10x. Your revenue's gone up. It's only sensible to allocate some of this revenue as part of organic search. And you can track this through Shopify and GA4, like I said, but even then there is an issue of attribution. It isn't just tied down to SEO. It's a problem affecting the whole industry for sure.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. And it is one of the questions that I also get asked most of the times from clients every time they get a chance to
Yeah.
talk to me on a call. So yeah, that's spot on.
So another challenge as well is probably the Google algorithm updates. They're coming more frequently and they're targeting more and more things in each update as well. So if you're trying to determine, how well an SEO campaign is doing based on how much organic revenue is generating, your organic revenue is pretty much tied to your organic visibility. If you've seen higher for your keywords, you're gonna get a lot of organic revenue. If you're not seen for your keywords, you're gonna get no revenue. So if you're ranking number one and you're killing it for months and months and months, and then your site tanks in a Google update because you're doing low quality, maybe backlinks or spamming Google with AI content, then of course, like your performance on that campaign is going to tank as well. So there's a lot of stuff to bear in mind because with each update, if you're doing quality SEO, you shouldn't have to worry about your site tanking. But as you know now, a lot of people are trying to spam the way to the top of Google, even in 2024, which is insane. So again, that makes it more difficult as well. And if you're an ecom brand and you've kind of moved from like one agency to another, and you're bouncing away between all these different agencies in the space, every agency has its own kind of guide for like quality control and what is right, what is wrong, how they do things. So the more agencies you bounce across, the more complicated it is for you to determine, are you actually getting quality SEO? And typically, if you're bouncing from one agency to another, you're probably not happy with the results anyway. So it's better off spending that time up front to find the right agency that understands your brand, that has the case studies, that has the social proof, and that way you won't have to keep bouncing, and your campaign's pretty much essentially future proofed as well.
Yeah, I think just to sum it up and summarize it, it's quality over quantity in everything that you do, backlinks, content creation. So if you just think of it with SEO and with all of these algorithm updates, the main point is to make the user experience better. And users don't want to be spammed. They don't want to see anything that seems it was just thrown in there for the sake of it. So keep that in mind when you're doing anything on your website. So while, yeah, just going back to what you were saying, there are quite a few challenges, but there are ways to overcome this, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think number one is spend a lot of time up front getting your conversion tracking as dialed in as you can, right? It's never going to be 100%. Definitely recommend, if you're not a specialist in GA4, which let's be honest, is a lot different to Universal Analytics. A lot of people that are still ashamed to admit it, they haven't got their heads around it. And yeah, there is definitely a lot into it. And it doesn't help that Google's also adding more updates to it literally every other month. So again, they don't really have a finished product. In my opinion, it was released prematurely. It shouldn't have waited for at least another year, in my opinion. But anyway, like you should be getting someone that is very proficient with GA4 that can set up all this for you. That's pretty much what we do for our clients at the agency. We set up GA4 from day one, make sure we set up goals. We need to understand what is important to that brand. Is it a sign up to the email list? Is it someone adding to the basket? And once you understand that, you create the goals and you track that as part of the campaign. But if you don't do that, then you have no idea basically how to improve the campaign going forward.
Yeah, and I think also because one of the challenges is that SEO takes a long time. It's just setting realistic expectations. If you start with that in mind and you are patient, it's gonna be for the better.
No, awesome. So talking about long term, right? Like how long does it typically take brands to get results from SEO?
I would say for minor improvements, it's 3 to 6 months. We've had campaigns where we've generated massive results in 3 months, but I don't want to set the bar too high because we were just talking about expectations. And for long term, we typically tell clients 6 to 9 months. The 12 months thing is a misconception. So it's not going to take 1 year for it to kick off. And it does kick off step by step. As we were just discussing, SEO has a compound effect. So we can see minor improvements in month one, and then in month two, more keywords kick in, and then in month three, you're already ranking, let's say, on page one
Yeah,
for a
for
couple of
sure.
variations. So it's a step by step process. It's not like ads, for example, that you see daily results and it's
Yeah.
all of them.
Agreed, for sure. And I think like if you're a Shopify brand owner, Ecom brand owner watching this podcast now and you're unsure of how long it would take your website to rank in your particular industry, then feel free to book a free discovery call with the team. You know, we're happy to jump on a call with you. We'll show you your website, show you where you're going wrong, show you who you're competing with, exactly what they're doing, and give you more of an accurate, bespoke timeline of kind of what you're looking to achieve. And again, just saying 6 to 9 months, 3 to 6 months, like it's not going to add much clarity for brands. So again, like that is a free offer for us. More than happy to show you and walk you through the ROI of any campaign as well, like we do for all of our clients, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the key here is just being transparent and having the right expectation, because there've been so many clients we work with who said, look, this is very, very competitive. It's going to be like a minimum of 12 months. Like, okay, cool. Thanks for being honest and let me know. This is not for me. No problem. At least we don't avoid having a bad client now who expects results in 2 months. And if they do say yes, happy, then great. At least they know it's a minimum of 12 months. I don't
Yeah.
email and expect results in 2 months, right? So having an expectation makes it easier from both an agency side and also from a client side as well.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to say, that it all goes back to how competitive your industry is. And that's also a factor that comes into play when we're talking about timelines.
Oh, awesome. Agreed.
Okay. Thanks for tuning into this one as well. As always, if you have any questions or anything, you can leave that in the comments. Don't forget to click that like button, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Cheers. What are you having?
I had green tea.
You had. Oh, you finished it already.
I mean, I've got a little bit left.
Oh my God, I'm having coffee, guys. Obviously, I'm not British if you didn't tell by now.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a fourth coffee of the day, by the way. But yeah, on that
That's
bombshell,
light. That's light.
we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.